Hi, Jimmy. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Jimmy. Jimmy, our viewers would like to know your expert opinion in terms of the most awaited event of the year, the Union Budget. What is your expectation from the budget and finance minister?
Basically, from a mutual fund perspective, the expectations are pretty common year on year, in the sense that first, the industry would definitely like to have um, a status of an equity-oriented fund for all fund of funds that invest in equity mutual funds. The underlying portfolio comprises of equity schemes. In fact, there was some benefit given when the government announced in the budget to this that any investment made in a listed product which invests in equity will get classified as an equity product or equity fund. Similarly, why can't we have an extension on any scheme, a fund of fund scheme, investing in equity schemes of other mutual funds? They should also get the benefit of a classification of an equity fund, such that the investors tend to benefit and take advantage of tax. That's the first point. Second point, obviously, is that there is a big anomaly today between fixed income mutual funds and listed fixed income products or listed debt securities as far as taxation goes. So the request is, the suggestion is that it should be brought in commonality. For example, a fixed income product to qualify for long-term capital gain or long-term capital assets should be held for the. On the other hand, if we need listed zero coupon bonds or any papers who are to be classified for long-term capital asset, then it has to be held only for 12 months. So this is the anomaly that needs to be removed, and all fixed income products should be brought in par as far as decision goes.
Right, Jimmy. This is from a mutual fund perspective. But apart from the industry, from a macroeconomic perspective, from an India perspective, what are your broad expectations this year?
So more avenues should be made available to the investor to earn money, to save money from say capital gains tax or increase the basic deduction, which under 8SC, which is currently 1.5, double it up to at least 3, because the inflation has gone up last this pandemic environment. And if you were to look at the statistics available, the middle class people have suffered a lot. So some sort of face saving or tax saving measures should be made available by way of higher tax rebates or higher tax benefits, such that savings can be done. And this savings can be channelized back into the equity segment by making appropriate openings or appropriate products. So it helps the investor, that is the individual, as well as it helps the development of the capital market.
Right, Jimmy. Apart from these government steps, we have seen a significant increase in SIPs from the retail investors. There is a significant amount of awareness now among retail investors. Do you think, typically fence sitters or investors who are sitting on fence, waiting for budget announcement, or should they invest in a disciplined manner?
The investment, as rightly mentioned, needs a lot of discipline. And it is irrespective whether you invest today, you invest when the market is high, you invest when the market is low, or you wait for an event to make an investment. The moment you take a decision that I want to make an investment should start. Because investment is always on a long-term period, and the long-term, it is 3 to 5 years. So if you are making a decision to invest on a long-term period, we allow some investment and to be held for a long-term tenure, or we can SIP investment which is to be done over a period of time for 3 to 5 years. It's immaterial and irrespective when you start investing, because the capital market cycles take care of the average over there is never a right time to invest. There is always an opportune time to invest. And today is the opportune time to invest. Tomorrow is the opportune time to invest. Whenever you have money and you want to invest, you should invest. Saving is very important.
Right. Very true. So the event per se is, for short-term traders, there can be volatility, but, from a long-term perspective, you think that, budget is just a small blip in long term. Very true. Apart from this, Jimmy, any comment on the India's macroeconomics today, current situation, the deficit, the inflation, and how should we tackle it?
It's always a question of concern when it comes to managing inflation and the deficit. Because on one hand, we say that consumption has to improve, capital improve. And on the other hand, we also keep saying that the government should borrow less and keep deficit under control. There has to be a balance requirement which never happens and never exists. It is always that how the money generated is deployed or channelized in the right manner. If the money generated from capex generates capital investment and indirectly that helps generate employment, it is deployed in the right manner because that will obviously in long term benefit the country. The intent of spending should be honorable and not debatable.
Very interesting thoughts on the intent of investment from government perspective. The infrastructure focus of the government, I think, in that sense, is looking very decent. What's your view on the inflation? That's a burning question, specifically because, we still are in the third wave of COVID, and US is now increasing is planning to increase the interest rate. How do you see our market getting impacted because of that?
So we would say we are not insulated from the overseas segment of the overseas market. It would be to see how our economy absorbs it and how our government sort of insulates us or takes care such that the inflation doesn't rise. Because this quarter being a very crucial quarter from all perspective, budget round the corner, this investment of a big PSU going to happen, a pandemic or a third wave happening, people having limited revenues for saving. So obviously people are looking at alternative form of investment such that they don't burn their fingers with higher inflation.
Correct. The food inflation specifically can be really painful. Any comments on the budget per se, sir? Your thoughts, final thoughts?
They should not sort of bring on additional taxation in this environment, but should bring in more benefits for the middle class per se, and more investment opportunities or more savings opportunity, because Indian people are known to save money, even in the most adverse scenarios. So, like an opportunity is required, a nudge is required to save money.
Right.
So it has to control inflation, it has to control deficit, at the same time push up employment, investment, and savings. I mean, the typical expectations from any budget.
Right, Jimmy. Jimmy, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.